for a treat here, and before we get started, I just wanted to share a little story about a girl in a dream, and no, it's not a story about an autobiography about myself. This is a story about how Jennifer Kent, who is a social media marketing consultant in Enderby. For those of you who know where Enderby is, hello. Jennifer is our social media expert and brought to our attention at the Chamber some videos of Mr. Scott Stratten, and ever since then the balls have been rolling. I said balls on stage. I can tell that one. But that went all to here, which is fantastic, because we don't, in this region, as far as I know, we don't really get this level of expertise coming here to speak to you. So be proud of yourselves for showing up, and life is all about learning, right? So we want to thank Jennifer Kent, Marketing, first of all, for starting this whole thing off. So big round of applause. Who's the girl with the dream, right? And then, secondly, we'd like to thank Shuswap Tourism. Without Shuswap Tourism and Robin and Reddy, this wouldn't have been possible. And we'd like to thank the Dolan Inns, who earlier today we and these lucky VIP guests got to dine with Scott at table 24. So we'd like to thank Dolan Inns as well. On behalf of the Enderby District Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to turn it over, please. Welcome, Scott Stratten.
I hate people with better facial hair than me. Damn you, BC, and your well-facial-haired men. Except I'm from Toronto because I have a weak beard. So I am from Toronto, so I'm automatically pretentious. So I apologize for that. I like BC better though, so it's nice to see you. Where's Jen? Jen's back there, and without her, I'm not here. So what happened was she found out I was going to Red Deer on a tour stop a month ago, and she saw that, and she said to herself, well, you know, at least maybe he can come here. But in reality, I think she said, he's going to Red Deer, but not here. Oh no! And the funny thing is, she didn't actually, she didn't ask me to come here, by the way. She just told me I was coming here, and what are the technicalities we have to deal with to get you here. So, this is what I do. All I do is talk at events. This is my living, and so I do a lot of huge conferences and associations around the world, and they do it every year. And what I was saying to Jen before was the difference is these events are done by people who just stick their neck out and risk something and say, you know what, I want to make it happen for my community, because I think we deserve this. And then have to find sponsors, and then have to find people, and then you guys come. It's not like an association event where 4,000 insurance reps come because they have to, and they have budgets. This takes heart. This takes a lot of effort to do it. Thank you, Jennifer, for making this happen. Give her a round of applause. I really mean that, and everybody who's been involved, everybody who I've met today, has been for the most part great. And this place is amazing. I showed up with sandals on because I'm an idiot. I forgot my boots at home. I got to the front desk and I'm like, Salmon Arm, nice, this is cool. I get to the front desk and I'm like, where can I go get like shoes or boots tomorrow? Front desk person goes, I don't think we sell those at Salmon Arm. I'm sorry. How small is your town? But I found some things, so I'm a happy camper, so it's good. So like I said, I've been around the world recently, a bunch of times. I'm very lucky to do this. I go to exotic places like Australia and Thailand and Salmon Arm, and I was just in Amsterdam. I can't talk about that. And I was just in Istanbul a month ago, and they translated the book into Turkish, and I have no idea what it says, but it looks amazing. I'm sure it just says Scott's a moron the whole time. I'm like, yeah, I'll find that for you. And I love Turkey. It was amazing. Everything I thought it would be, going to the Grand Bazaar, the spice market, and Blue Mosque. I got to see history. I love that stuff. And then I got back and I got sick. I got some kind of foodborne kind of bacteria. Not now, I'm fine now, so you're easy. Front row was like, oh hell, bad choice. So, yeah, so, wait right there. So, when I got back, I had a gig in Vegas. So I landed in Vegas. I woke up in the morning with 103.8 temperature and literally like the cold sweats. I hadn't been that sick since I was like 10 years old. And so I called for a doctor. I'd never done that. I never got for a doctor outside my town where I live. And the doctor came to the hotel room. He's like, well, you haven't been anywhere risky, right? I'm like, I went to Turkey. It's like, oh, no. All right, it's filled full of drugs. It could be E. coli. It could be a parasite. I'm like, it could be what? I could be like in Outbreak right now. I could be the monkey from Outbreak. And Dustin Hoffman's gonna burst through the door in a second. So he's like, okay, there you go. For my visit, that'll be $330. And I'm like, but I'm Canadian. I don't pay for medical care. I pull out my health card. I'm like, I'm sure my Ontario health card will suffice. He's like, oh yeah, okay, $330. So. Anyway, so it's been amazing what I've been able to do. And really, for the book you got now, you should all have it in front of you. If you don't, you got ripped off. The book's available for sale, so if you want extra copies or you want to return yours, you can. But if you want extra copies, will be available. And I will be signing all of them as many after. I'll write whatever you want in your book, too. So if you buy extra copies, I'll write really what you want in there. And so the fun thing about this book, this is the second book. The first book was called UnMarketing. That came out in hardcover and paperback. And this is the new one. And if you haven't figured it out yet, there's two books. You flip it upside down, it's one book. Flip it the other way, it's another book. The book of business awesome. The book of business unawesome. And the fun thing about this was we pitched it to the publisher to Wiley as a joke. I was kind of kidding. And they're like, that's good, let's do it. I'm like, oh God. And I got to write it, so I had to write the book. And the fun thing for me, it's literally, it reads both ways. And there's two beginnings, two ends, two author bios. And if you open up the front cover, you'll see the author photo. Open it, look at it, I'm telling you. Listen to me, like there. So open it, if you open the good side, the awesome side, you can see that nicely posed picture, like I'm professional and stuff, as you can tell, we ain't going down that track right now. But flip it to the unawesome side picture, where I'm screaming. That's a live action shot. That was not posed by a photographer. Like that was. And the thing about this was I was yelling at an audience in Texas. And I was not having E. coli at the time. I was yelling at this audience in Texas of a group of people in the hospitality industry. And it was half HR, half marketing. And they were literally split. And I mean literally, half the room was on this side was HR, half was marketing. They don't work together. And I was getting mad at them for that because I think, you'll see today, one of the most important things about marketing to me is hiring. It's who you bring to your company. And I know a bit about both because I used to do HR. I took HR at college, I taught it at the college level, I was in HR until I realized I hated people and I had to get out of HR. Which is why I got the marketing. And but I realized that was an important part. So that's where that's the history of that picture of mine screaming. And you can't see in that picture though, I'm actually wearing a t-shirt, a Mr. Rogers t-shirt that says you're special. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs at these people. So it was a perfect picture. Had a lot of fun writing it. My favorite thing about this book is, like the first book, is the sarcastic footnotes that go through the whole book. And it's like 94 chapters. They're all 2 pages each. You can rip through like 10 chapters. You haven't even started sitting in the toilet yet. Like it's just, it'll make you feel like you are a scholar. And I didn't even spell check. So you can rock and roll this thing, no problem. So the only long chapters in it are the guest chapters from other people that, they're smarter than me, and they sort of grab them. So I really do hope you enjoy it. And speaking of awesome, by the way, if you're anybody here have a Twitter account, put your hands up for a second. Okay, good. So my name's UnMarketing on Twitter. If you want to say hi, my entire self-esteem is based on you tweeting today or tonight. So please do. I speak in tweets. Like it's my raging ADD. I speak in tweets, and so if I think something's tweetable, I'll just pause and I'll just wait for you to tweet it. Whenever you're ready, we move on to the next point. You want the secret to Twitter? Yeah, that's the secret to Twitter right there. I'll just wink and it's just a tweet. No one just do that, okay? That's how it works. So this is the most awesome kid I found on the internet. This is not my kid. My kid wouldn't sign the bottle release. But this is the most awesome kid in the world. I really do think awesome, I don't use the word awesome as a cheesy word. I really believe that our reaction to businesses, our reaction to content, our reaction to experiences is about either awesome or unawesome. That we either spread and share awesome experiences, which is advantageous to your business, or we spread unawesome ones, which is not so good, but we can do stuff with that too. The problem is most businesses aim for mediocre. They aim just to be there. to aim just to be whatever that is. And the bar is set so low for business that we have to realize to be awesome, we don't have to do a heck of a lot to get to that point. I want to give you some examples of what works. In marketing, because I've been doing marketing with my company for almost 12 years now, that marketing, we understand the left side here. The logo. Yes, we understand the logo. Because we've always learned that in school marketing, we learn about that. To me, marketing is what's on the right. That's Joshy. He's a poorly stuffed giraffe. And he is marketing to me. And what I mean by this is the Ritz-Carlton is what this story comes to me and why Joshy comes to my mind. A family stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, Amelia Island in Florida. I was there speaking at an event about 6 weeks ago. Beautiful place. And a family went there. So the father went to California for business. The mom took 2 kids to Amelia Island for a holiday. And what happened was they had a great time, but the 5-year-old left Joshy at the resort when they left. He forgot. Now, any of you here have kids? Anybody have kids here? Or that you know of? Hands up? Okay, good. So, and some of you were kids once yourself. If you ever had, or your kid had that thing, the security thing, the blankie, the teddy bear, Teddy Buxton, I don't care what it is. My son is 11 now, but back in the day, he had, his thing was soothers, plural, 3 of them. 1 in each hand, 1 in his mouth. You can't go with 2, 3. And if you lost one, if your kid lost their, whatever that thing is, what would happen? Oh, it's game over, right? The world has ended. It's like if you lost your phone. Right? You know what I mean? What happened? You ever walked out of the house and you ever done this with the guys? Oh, you gotta run back in and get it because your world is lost if you don't. I was talking to a room full of parents once, and I said, what would be worse? If you lost your kid at the mall or you lost your phone? Think about it. Some of you are just... The kid would be returned to security. Phone wouldn't though. So yeah, there's more incriminating stuff on my phone than there is with the kid. Rather lose the child. That's good. So, I was in Newark. I was connecting for a flight in New Jersey, and I got off the plane. I turned my phone back on, my BlackBerry, Canada, and I got New Jersey, and it came up and it just said fatal error. And I don't know a lot about the internal things of phones. I just know the word fatal and the word error is not something you say yay to when it happens. And I realized, so the phone is now literally dead. Like it says fatal on the thing, so it's dead. I realized I now know nothing. I don't know where I'm flying to next. I don't know what event I'm going to. I was going to call my assistant. I don't know my phone number. And I was going to call home. I don't know my home number. The only number I know in my head is now my fatally dead cell phone number. I had to go to an internet cafe. Who goes there? And I had to go email my assistant and wait until whenever she got back to me. And I wrote and I said, "Can you give me your phone number?" Writes back, she goes, "That's weird, why?" Just give me the phone number. 11 minutes just to get this phone number back and forth. I finally got saved. So we realized how much we depend on these things. Anyways, back to the story. So Joshy was left with the Ritz-Carlton. So the father got back from his business trip. The kid is in hysterics because his toy is gone. And so the father does what any good parent would do for the kid, and he lied to the kid and said, Joshy's on an extended vacation. He's staying there a little longer because he enjoyed the resort. And the kid calmed down the kid temporarily. Now, of course, what's the father going to do? So he calls the Ritz-Carlton and says, "Please tell me you found my kid's giraffe." And they're like, "Yes, we did, sir." And that alone, to me, is miraculous. That a place, a hotel found something you lost. And now, what would happen if you left something at a hotel? You stayed at a hotel, you lose something, they'll ask for your credit card, and they'll ship it back to you on your expense, and it'll take like 6 to 8 months to get to you when you finally get it. Not only did Ritz-Carlton not charge him to send it, and not only did they overnight Joshy back, they also sent pictures of Joshy's extended vacation. Is Joshy getting a massage? Joshy catching some rays by the pool. Joshy meeting some new friends at the bar. The dolphin's getting a little inappropriate. Some of you in this room might be the dolphin sometimes. Right? Joshy had to work off his stay, so he's working in loss prevention. And since he worked for them, he had to get an ID badge made. They shipped the pictures, Joshy, a letter, and the ID badge overnight back to the family. What is one word that describes this to you?
Awesome.
Awesome, right? What did the father do, you think, when he got this package, other than change his pants? What did he do? He told everybody, right? You would tell everybody, right? He tweets it, Facebooked it, he blogs it. I forgot to mention, he blogs for the Huffington Post, which gets about 10 million readers a week. So now here's the thing though. The hotel did not know he blogged for the Huffington Post because he wasn't there. If they did this only because he's an influencer and he had pull, if you're only awesome to influencers, you're not actually awesome. Oh wait. Just tweet it, we can move on. UnMarketing says. But that's it, right? If you're only good to people who think you can do something for you, that's not being great. Awesome was a way of mind for a company. And he shared it and he spread it. And then I read it and I shared it and spread it. And then I put it in a talk. And I tell this around the world. How great marketing is that for Ritz-Carlton? This is not in their playbook. It's not in their policy manual. But if you ever stayed at Ritz-Carlton, you know they're all amazing. You know how they do that? They hire properly. They hire great people to do it. They train them properly. But the problem in marketing is we focus on this in marketing. We focus on the logo, right? Anybody here ever designed or been a part or have an opinion or a vote on a logo in your life? Yeah, good. You'll never get that time to get back in your life. You'll never get that time back. You want it back. You'll never get it back. I'm not saying a logo isn't important. I will not say that nobody cares about your logo, but nobody cares about your logo. Now, what I mean by this is if you're going to hire a designer to do your logo, let your designer do the frickin' design. Let them do it. Okay? Stop putting your 2 cents, your 12 cents, and your 25 cents into it. Let them do it because you're going to argue. Anybody here design logos ever? How many arguments have you gotten from people that are the most frickin' ridiculous things you've ever heard just so they can give you their opinion? Right? You ever gone to the site Clients from Hell? Go to the website Clients from Hell. It's all, you'll weep for days reading these stories because you've lived them, right? So, logos have to represent the company well. The problem is when we start putting everybody's opinion into it, it changes from a lion to some kind of giraffe with 9 colors because everybody wants their opinion. Here's the problem. When this logo was properly designed, there was probably 73 people involved. It took 9 months to come up with this logo. There was probably a left-facing lion opinion camp and a right-facing lion opinion camp. There was a tongue-out camp, a tongue-in camp, a tongue-to-the-right camp. There was an entire font argument for weeks of what font. Am I right, designers? Am I right? The font argument went down into bold or not bold and underline. The weird italics argument that lasted an hour. You had the Comic Sans guy in the corner. Nobody talked to him, right? All this stuff happening. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Especially my graphic people, you guys get what I mean? Where if it's solid, right? Whatever you're tweaking does not matter. And once I experience your business, the logo fails to matter at all. Because when I see the logo, now I just conjure up whatever that experience is of myself or somebody I trust. The logo for the Ritz-Carlton, once Joshy happens, should be this. That's now the Ritz-Carlton to me. When I see Ritz-Carlton, I now think this. That's the difference. That's what we don't realize. We spend so much time and so much wasted energy on the first part, and we fail to invest anything on what makes this happen. Find people who can design for you, let them do their job, so you can focus on making this happen. I'm busting the vessel. Does that make sense? I'm about to have a hernia. Like this is really what's important for us in marketing. I'm a huge fan of good design. I use a great design from where I'm from, and I refuse to do it myself because I let talented people do talented things, and then I focus on making great experiences. That's what we need to get when it comes to design, because nobody has ever stayed at the Ritz-Carlton and said the bed was too hard, the room service was overpriced, and the front desk person was a jerk. But did you see the logo? Oh, it's exquisite. I'm gonna be there next month. I'm sorry. The strong lines are amazing. The regal, the lion. Amazing how it forms into a crown, right? It doesn't influence their experience after I've experienced your brand. That's the problem. That's the difference between these two things. Because marketing isn't a task. It's none of your job to market. It's everybody's job to market. Your front lines, are probably the biggest marketers in your company. The ones who answer the phone, the ones who take the tickets at the front, the ones who serve the food, the ones who check somebody in, the one who answers the email, the tweets, the Facebook. Those are your biggest marketers. And they're usually the lowest paid and the lowest appreciated. That is a bad combination. And they're the worst hired usually. They're the warm body syndrome people, right? And one of the things that you thrive for you guys over here is tourism. Whoever you have manning up front is this area of BC, is Salmon Arm, is the Open Eye, is everything, because they represent it. And when I experience it, that changes my opinion of this province. That's what they have to know. We have to realize that who we bring is so important. We don't realize how that works. I'll give you an example of this. Like I said, I live in planes and hotels. And so I have to call for wake-up calls. Anytime I'm doing an opening keynote or thing, I need to wake up, because if I don't, that's not a good result. So when I wake up, I call for wake-up calls. I have called for hundreds of wake-up calls in the past few years, hundreds. And once this has happened, in Arizona, in Phoenix, phone for wake-up call. You ever called for wake-up call? What happens? Usually automated. You press 7 for 7, and 1 for AM, and 9 for PM, and you just put it in there. And I called, and somebody answered the phone. I pressed wake-up call, like, good evening, Mr. Stratten. You ever phone somebody and not expected them to pick up? Like, hello, oh, hey, can you hang up? I just want to leave you a message. I didn't want to talk to you. I have no urge for dialogue right now. I have a really good canned message, 30 seconds tops. And this is going to take 9 minutes. So can you just, I'm losing the signal, just hang up. You want to call back? Well, that was like for a wake-up call. I hate talking on the phone to people. I really do. I just hate it. And so I phone, and I call, and she's like, good evening, Mr. Stratten, wake-up call? I'm like, hi, yeah, 7:30 a.m., please. And then she says, ooh, that's really early. Would you like some coffee sent to your room at 7:30? That is really early. I think I would like some coffee sent to my room. And then she goes, maybe we should set it at 7:35. Because I know if I woke up at the crazy hour of 7:30, I'd be pretty angry. I wouldn't want to talk to anybody for a few minutes. I am going to be really angry at 7:30. I am going to want to wait till 7:35. Thank you. She goes, is there anything else? I'm like, nope. She goes, I hope you have a great night and even better tomorrow. And I'm just, thank you. I love you, wake up call. And I hang up the phone, and then the wake-up call comes at 7:30, and the coffee comes at 7:35, and I have no problem paying $83 for the room service coffee that comes to my room. No problem. Why? Because she was awesome, that's why. When people tell me awesome is weird and it doesn't have, awesome has an ROI. If you love what you do and you're good at it, it has an ROI. She paid her entire day's pay in 45 seconds. Right? Awesome has an ROI. Selling overpriced coffee has an ROI. Awesome employees are not overhead. I hate the term head count. It's really used a lot in the States. I hate it, that people are overhead. If you have good people, they bring value to your bottom line. They increase your bottom line. And I know that. I used to do hiring. My job at a college was at Goodwill, Toronto. I did hiring there. I hired over 1,000 people in a few years. And I understand I did it wrong. I hired for the wrong reasons. Right? It was like retail. We hired for retail. And I used to say for any kind of full-time position or management position, it was always 3 to 5 years experience. You've seen this in ads, right? 3 to 5 years experience. Do you know why I picked 3 to 5 years experience? I don't know. I have no reason to pick 3 to 5 years experience other than that's what I saw other people doing. There you go, my education at work right there, right? And I don't know the difference between 2 years retail experience or 4 years. I don't know the difference between 1 year retail and 7 years experience, other than the fact that the person with 7 years retail experience hates people more than the person with 1 year experience, yes? Yeah? You work retail before, you know where I'm coming from, right? Yeah, exactly. These people walk down the store, you're like, what? You get, in about a year and a half or so after retail, you start doing the whole, if it wasn't for customers, I'd get a lot more done, you know, right? Hopefully this is a no customer day. That's what you start getting to, right? That is a bad place to be in retail. That's a terrible place to be. We need to hire better. We need to hire based on skill. We need to hire based on give a damn. That's what I call it. We need to hire because they're going to care about our people, our visitors, our tourists, our customers, right? That's the difference. Passion plus knowledge equals profit. Oh, that's an incredible tweet. Go. Just run with it. I got to retweet it like just tomorrow. But that's it. Passion plus knowledge equals profit. That's how we should hire. Loving what you do, knowing what you're doing. What else is there? What else is there? That should be our goal. And we can teach knowledge. We can't teach passion, right? And I don't mean cheesy passion. I just love everything. No, you just love what you do. You can tell, right? You can tell. You can tell when you take your car over to a mechanic if they really love what they're doing. You can tell if you go to a movie theater and the person working the candy bar just loves that they're working, having a job, and that you're there. That's a huge difference. We need to hire based on that. But you know why we don't? Because it takes longer. And it's harder. And it takes much more sitting down time with somebody to see what they're like. So I had a stack of 200 resumes. My job was to get rid of as many resumes as I could first. So it was easier for me. Staple in the wrong spot, you're out. Cloud paper, awkward, throw it out. Like just really, yellow paper, what's wrong with you? You just get rid of this until you have like 20. That made my job easier. That was a very, very big, misjustice of hiring. I shouldn't have done it that way. And I kind of learned that now. One of the other things I get to talk about a lot when I go around is tech. Is technology. We'll get to social media in a minute. But tech itself, too, and marketing and how it works. I'm a huge geek with tech. Do I have any old school geeks in the room, like internet, mid to late 90s? Anybody here is on the internet? Like, we'll go hang out in the IRC chat later. ICQ. Little ICQ. Little flower going around. We'll go ICQ it up. Yeah, good. Awesome. Little message boards. By the way, all us geeks were doing social media before we called it that. We just called it talking and chatting. That's what we used to call it. Same thing, right? So it existed before we made up the term. So, what I find in marketing all the time with technology is we use technology to show that we're using it. Not because we should use it, or because it's smart for our market or for our business. We use it because to show, hey, look what we're using. And the biggest example of this I can give you is QR codes. Anybody who knows what a QR code is? Hands up. Okay, if you don't, that's perfectly fine. A QR code is you take your smartphone. It's not so smart all the time, but you take your smartphone, you download an app which will take your camera and it'll read a code. It kind of looks like this. And it'll read a code and it'll take you to somewhere on the web. It'll scan it and take you. It's supposed to break down the steps to get to a website. Great in theory, right? In theory. But, however, they don't work a lot and they're actually really misused. This is a QR code of Oreo cookies. It's made actually of Oreo cookies. Don't scan it though, focus here, right here. Stay with me here, okay? It works, but the problem with QR codes is we're using them, we have to scan them, and if you scan it, it can take anywhere, have you ever anybody's tried to scan one before? It takes anywhere from like 1 to 11 minutes to scan the thing, going like this, trying to focus properly on it. It takes a very long time stationary-wise to do it, but we're using them everywhere in marketing now. I've seen them everywhere. The problem is we're using them when we shouldn't. I have seen QR codes on billboards on the side of the highway. Like, what? I'm driving. I saw one in Ottawa. A billboard from the RCM frickin' P. And it said, "Don't text and drive." With a QR code on the sign. Oh, I see what you did there. That's entrapment. You can't do that. That's not allowed. Stop it. That's going to be my title of the third book, by the way. Stop it. This is me just saying stop it. The entire thing, the whole book is going to be stop it. I've seen QR codes in all these places. I've seen QR codes in the magazines on airplanes. Think about it for a second. When do you read airline magazines? When the plane is taking off or when it's landing, right? Because you're not allowed to touch any of your devices and you're having a hissy fit because you can't look at your iPad for 60 seconds, right? So you're reading the magazine. I can't scan it. I have no signal, and I'm not allowed to use my phone anyways. And I had somebody in the audience once from an agency go, "Well, people can take the airline magazines home with them." And I said, only very lonely people take airline magazines home with them. If that's your market, then go ahead. But really, truly, who is using these things? I have gotten QR codes in emails. No? You want a visual? I'll give you a visual. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Awkward. Okay. The email comes here. Okay? The camera that scans the code is on the other side of the phone. unless I'm some sort of Jedi, I'm not scanning your code. Then I had somebody else say to me once, I just find the best people. I had somebody else say to me, son, but some people download their email on their computer. Well, then I'm already on the computer. If you want me to go to somewhere on the internet, give me a link.